Welcome viewers and welcome Mr. Barry Peatling to the Barry Peatling Sports Show.
And welcome to you, Colin Sutcliffe, and all my overseas and interstate viewers. It's not a bad day today for a change. The last few weeks has been very cold, but it's a bit of a nip in the air, but it's not a bad day.
Not too bad. A little bit windy, sun's out.
Sun's out, does help.
Good day. It's feeling a little bit springy.
It's been a bit wintery, if you don't mind.
Yeah, but today feels a little bit springy.
Oh, today, yeah. Very good.
So, before we get into the big game, let's have a look at our headline.
Oh, that's good. Not a bad sort of headline, Colin. I've got a few good headlines in this old house here, but that is a pretty good one. That's a 7-goal game for Barry Peatling, and because Ian Morgan kicked 6, and that's what they call a good headline for Peatling and Morgan.
Peatling Morgan Star.
Well, we hit Star. Well, he kicked 6, I kicked 7. And I give him about 4 or 5 with lovely stab passes. This
is against Dimboola.
It was the last game of the home away season.
Got a little bit of a picture there.
Yeah, look about 16 there, don't I?
Fairly young.
No, I know that was him.
So he kicked 7 goals, 3 votes, Barry. Who was given the votes that day?
Oh, some Dimboola man.
A Dimboola man? Gave you the votes?
Well, I should think so. It wouldn't be too hard to give it. It's kicking 7 goals straight. No points.
Now, it says here that Ian Morgan, 2 votes, 1 vote to Dunlop. But Maurice Marks had a fair game. Maurice
Marks was a very, very good... He was a very good footballer. He's still up and around that area now, and he was an Aborigine, and he's a very, very good footballer. We were premiers that year, Colin. We won the grand final by 10 goals. And that was the last home and away game. I'll say something about those 60 goals they finished up kicking for the year. I was talking to a fellow last week. He said, one of Murray Lewison's fellas, and he said that record you're talking about, apparently watches my YouTube. That record is still standing. 60 goals for a row. It's never been beaten. Someone got to 53.
Okay.
But that record still stands.
So that's the record of that year.
I finished runners up in the League goal kicking with 60 goals. So that's a pretty good record, I would say so, for all my viewers all around the world and interstate.
Very good. Okay, well that's yesteryear.
Yesteryear, good days gone by, yeah.
Let's talk about Chelsea versus Eliza.
Chelsea, I went down to Eliza to have a look at the game.
Weather and conditions?
The weather wasn't too bad. It was cold, and got a couple of showers later in the game, but very ordinary ground team.
You risked your life?
Oh, I had a big... Oh, it could have been a catastrophe. I had no wipers on my car before I left, but you said, and a couple of other friends of mine said, there'd be no rain.
No rain.
So I had to come home, and next thing it started teeming down. I had no wipers, and how I'm still here, I'll never know. So I'll never ever forget that, because a lot of hills where we come from Eliza to Frankston, and there's cars banked up because I couldn't.
This could have been the last video. Last week could have been the last video.
We might get this video, the wipers fixed up the next couple of days with a bit of luck.
So here we go. So
I got over that pretty well.
Tell us, so it's not a bad day. The rain came a bit later. Now, any changes, Barry?
Yes, there's 4. There's Jurassic, Osborne, Joel Conley, looks like he's out for the year. Got a crook tail or crook ankle or something. And Missy, this fella under 17, I thought he was dropped. I said to Snake, what's going on? He's gone away for the weekend. Look, this football club, the last 5 years, people go to funerals, weddings, holidays. Football should come first, you ratbanks.
Commitment.
And that Missy, but he's going to be a star. He's only 17. He was away for the weekend work on something.
Okay, well, let's get into the game. Tell us about the first half.
Well, first half, we didn't start too bad, but of course Jacko is back in business, rucked very well, played a good game all day, Jacko. Travis Graham and Toddy Yonder and Daniel Arsman, the same old story, mate. There's 3 or 4 or 5 players carried the side. And
5 amigos.
They're all playing well, and but at half time, Eliza were 11-6 to us, 4-4. Pathetic 4-4.
All right, let's talk about the second half then, Barry.
Well, they sort of started to take over a bit, and they got a lot of good. Not stars, a lot of good, sort of pretty good average footballers, but there's no outstanding stars there. I don't reckon I'll be in the 5, but I don't think they'll figure in the final. At the last 3 or 4, 2 or 3, they might make the second semi with a bit of luck.
So they were sort of well behind by the third quarter. It was all lost by the third
but
quarter.
The only good thing about Saturday's game, Con, was the last quarter. Chelsea really fired up in the last quarter. I mean, the last few weeks they've just gone missing, and they kicked it was at least 4 goals in the last quarter. Because they finished up getting beaten by 12 goals, but it was a good effort, and they all put in. And the one thing about Chelsea at the moment, they're pretty good tacklers. They don't get the ball too often, but they like to tackle. They're very good tacklers, and does help. But that was...
so it's a bit unusual because over the last few weeks, the second halves have been bad.
Gone missing. Just go home and never lay down. But that was very inspiring, I reckon, for the supporters. Even though we got beaten by 12, I was quite happy. We could have been beaten by 20. Anyway, that was... the only good thing that come out of the game.
What's the final score then, Barry?
The final score was Eliza, unbelievable kick, 27 to us, 9-10.
27-9-10. 127 to 64. So, okay, fair enough. That was.
And I'll say something about Bradley Clark's last quarter, a couple of minutes time.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So give us your group of best players.
Robbie Lancaster, little goal sneak. He played a good game all day. He kicked 3 goals. Toddy Gardner, Travis Graham, Bradley Clark, Daniel Arsman, Jackson Arthur put in a very good game. Jacko, well done. Jason Clark and Michael Shaw.
Okay.
Played a fair game too.
So
we had a lot of good players here on Saturday.
A lot of good players.
Yeah.
Okay. Give us the votes. 1 vote.
1 vote to Daniel Arsman. Played bigger part, 4 good quarters again.
Good. 2 votes.
2 votes. Little champ Toddy Garden. I was talking to his father. Stevie's coach in the seconds. He might have a go at the VFL again next year.
Ooh, very good.
I reckon it'd be a fair chance too. And of course, 3 votes. Number 4, Bradley Clark. Played a top game all day.
Very good.
Especially the last quarter.
So those are the votes, and there's only a few more games left till the end of the season.
I'll just tell you how many. I think it's 4 or 5, isn't there?
4 or 5, something like that. Not many. I'll tell you how many rounds there are. This is round 14.
Before, well.
And there's 18 rounds. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 games left.
1, 2, 3, 5.
No, there's round 15, 16,
that's a final.
17,
That's right, 4. That's a finals there.
4, there we go.
So who we got next week? Got Mornington next week.
Yep. That'll be at home.
Mornington, that's at home, thank God. And then Kooringal, we'll get another win there.
Yeah.
Frankston YCW, I'll see you later about that. And then the last game we got Balcombe Rd. Well,
might get a win.
We'll get 1 win there.
1 win.
Although Kooringal's kicked a few goals the last few weeks.
Give us the highlights, Barry. Highlights package.
There wasn't too many highlights at all, Colin. But the highlight of the day was Bradley Clark's last quarter. He kicked, he had 11 possessions in the last quarter, and he played a good game all day. This fella, he hasn't played a bad game this year. He's always been playing a better than average game every game. He's put in every week, this fella.
Okay.
My goal kicking. No, I told you about that. Yeah. Of course, I must mention about Robbie Lancaster's game.
Yeah.
3 brilliant goals. He's getting up in years, but he still knows where the goals are. And he played a very, very good game, Robbie, all day.
Yeah.
Well done, Robbie.
Did we mention the goal kickers? I'm not sure. Maybe just run through them quickly.
No, we didn't mention the goal kickers. You're dead right.
Yeah.
Smarten up. The goal kickers were Lancaster 3, Toddy Gardner 1, Jaden Adard 1, Casterbridge 1, Odell 1, Rafa, this new young kid, kicked 1, and Max Jackson Arthur and Matty Baxter kicked 1 each. So it was a first bit of a scattering of goal kickers, but that Rafa, that's a young kid, he's going to be alright too. Big tall fella.
Well, that's the game. Oh, who are we playing next week? Is it Mornington?
Mornington at home, thank God. Nice home game for Barry, not to travel too far, and his car with no waivers. Yep,
so he should be okay. Now, the coach.
Well, I don't know what's going on with the coach. He comes in rooms, he sort of doesn't tell them to go down and have a training on Sunday morning. He asks them now. I mean, when your coach is in charge, when the coach is coaching the side, you've got to be in charge. You can't be asking people to do things. You say, listen, do that. Can't get there, you don't get a game. And that's why the side's not. We're not functioning like a proper football side.
The times change, Barry. You're more polite these days. People are.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
so please come down to the.
But the people, the players like to be sort of told what's going on and communicate with the coach. I don't think he communicates so well with the ordinary players somehow or other. And it doesn't work out, Colin. When you're coaching a football side, you've got to be on the same level as them. Just because your coach doesn't really say you're a lot higher up.
Yeah.
You got to come down to their level and...
so he's only won how many games this year as a coach? Two games.
How many went last year?
Not many.
Did we win 3, did we?
Might have. So are we taking it back to set? Do we need to re-evaluate?
I was going back, for sure. I know about a fair few injuries, but as fellas like Bywater is a superstar, and was supposed to be a superstar. He's been playing the seconds the last couple of weeks.
Question mark.
Well, he can play when he wants to, but I said to you weeks and weeks ago, he's not properly fit. He only plays in spurts, and when you come into these football clubs and you're getting a bit of money, you've got to put in.
Yeah. So
but anyway, that's
how
football goes, and all football clubs have problems. Some have more problems than others. And
so he hasn't sold you as a coach yet?
No.
No, okay.
No, he's well, apart from the interchange I told you about last week, you don't. If you're going to interchange, you interchange with people who are not getting the ball. You don't interchange with your very good players. Like the same on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're 3 on the bench again: Arsman, Clark, and Toddy Gardner. And Toddy Gardner wasn't too happy coming off the ground a couple of times, I tell you. So,
smart.
Joy, leave the good players on the ground for God's sake.
Smart man. Let's get on to the Tigers.
I cannot believe Richard's run the last 4 games. And someone said in the paper today, if something works out properly, we can finish in the top 8.
Mathematically. You're starting to talk mathematically.
Yeah, they got these...
They can make the final 8 mathematically. When you start talking like that, you've got no chance. Because what happens is you win all the next 2 games, and then you lose the last game and you're gone. Finished 9th.
Those 5 games in the AFL, and they're to go, aren't they?
I reckon they're a fair chance of finishing 9th.
Well, that's one of their favourite decisions in the last 20 years, 9th. You don't sort of get much for that, do you?
But they've won a few games. And
look, it's got to be good for the supporters. Look, I've been a Tigers man from way back, and you'll probably coach Richmond again next year after he's won these 4 games. See? But 4 weeks ago he was gone.
That's a toughish sort of a game, West Coast versus over there.
I watched it. They played very well, and but there's no pressure on them now, Colin.
Yeah, that's what happens. Soon as if they win the next 2 games and they'll start saying, we're a real chance of making finals, then they'll crack up.
But that's what happens. I mean, that's what our coaches get. They save their job and they win 4 or 5 games.
The dream. And
then but early in the season we got beaten by the GWS and the Gold Coast and
disgrace.
And Secula.
Disgrace.
So, but it's good to see. You can't beat a winner.
No, that's true.
So I just hopefully that. Is there a mathematical
chance
we can get in the 8? Is that what they said in the paper?
Things are fall, yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Anyway, don't think about that yet.
No, we won't.
Too early. Let's see what happens. Take it week by week, Barry.
I will.
Any Cheerios? Go through the Cheerios.
Yeah, I always got some nice Cheerios.
International viewers.
Oh, the international viewers.
38,500.
Nearly going 39,000. I'll be another couple of weeks with 39,000. I cannot believe it. But there's some Mexico and Yugoslavia and Hungary and United Kingdom watching the videos last week.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Why would they be watching football? They don't know anything about football, do they?
They could be people from here that are there.
Could be some compatriots.
Curious?
Some compatriots overseas. But it's amazing that Mexico.
There's some weird people over there.
Well, that's not weird because they're watching my video. Settle down. But no, and of course, PH, I'll be ringing you up the next couple. I was going to ring you yesterday, PH, to see how your hernia's going, but I'll give you a call probably the next couple of days. And Abe Shandy's and Carl's is going alright, and of course Annie and Carl's in top of the grade at the moment.
Very good. Very good.
She's a pretty little thing, 7-year-old. And of course Lloyd is in charge of the house, and they got another visitor, Lloyd's niece. Very attractive girl. She works on the cruise liners all around the world. What's her name? Lele, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, the other one I was talking to her last night with Annie, and she's a very attractive gal. And Jack, that's her son. She's away 6 months a year, and they look after her. Annie looks after her son, Jack. I mentioned Jack before. What's his name? Yeah. Not Jack.
Double Jack.
So
Jack
hope everything's going right in the Philippines, and same with you in Cairns, Phil, and I'll be speaking to you very shortly. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
See you next week.